Are you struggling to beat the Division 2 Descent game mode? Follow the 6 steps in this guide and you'll be standing on the body of Nemesis and claiming your exotic cash before you know it. The key to pulling off fast and successful descent runs is how you tackle each room. Each room features a number of potential spawn points which will be marked by the red check marks on the door. The harder the room, the more potential spawn points there are. The best strategy I have found for fast and easy room clears is to stick to easy and medium rooms and then camp one of the spawn points. Once you've cleared all the enemies at that spawn point, pick off the stragglers and move on. Once past loop 5 there will be multiple waves of enemies, so make sure you finish off the last enemy of the wave close to a spawn point so you can rinse and repeat. When you enter a room, do check where the potential spawn points are. Camping a door with another directly behind you is a quick way to die. Finding the spawn points with cover between them and the others are the perfect ones to camp. So that's the strategy, but to deliver on it, you need to use the right weapon. And the best weapon is a shotgun. My personal favourite is the Super 90, which combines great stopping power and a fast rate of fire. The M870 and the Sausage are both good options, but avoid the ACS-12. It fires marshmallows and goes through ammo faster than a curry comes out my arsehole. If the RNG gods are shitting on you and a shotgun doesn't come up, then my second choice is an LMG. For a starting weapon I would go for something like the M249B or classic M60. While their base damage is a little low, the huge magazine will still let you take out the entire spawn at once. If neither of these weapon types come up, then a police M4, FAMAS or even a classic M1A rifle will also work, albeit their smaller mag sizes can be an issue. Anything else and I would just restart the whole thing. Don't forget your pistol though. It is very effective against red bar enemies and for conserving ammo, which can be a problem if you are tackling medium or hard rooms all the time. Shotguns and LMGs have one thing in common, an exceedingly long reload time. There is one exotic talent which should always be in your build, which removes this and makes these gun types absolute beasts. And that talent is of course Bullet Hell, which comes from the Bullet King LMG. What makes this so good is that it completely removes the need to reload. This makes both LMGs and shotguns incredibly overpowered and camping spawn points an absolute breeze. In particular the MG5, which has a very fast rate of fire for an LMG but has a smaller mag size. With Bullet Hell that issue is gone and you have a beast of a weapon. The other exotic talents that is ideal for the Nemesis fight is Plague of the Outcasts from the Pestilence LMG. Being able to apply constant damage ticks to the Nemesis makes the fight much easier, but more on that later in the video. The other exotic talents that I would consider using are Bloodsucker, which can give you insane levels of armor with this strategy, Agonizing Bite, which synergizes perfectly with the defensive talent Clutch, and Breathe 3 or Adaptive Instincts for their damage output buffs. Incessant Chatter from the Chatterbox SMG is low-key to the Bullet Hell Hulk, but its ammo replenishment does work well until you get that talent. The rest of the exotic talents are either a bit underwhelming compared to the standard talents you can get, or just plain suicidal. For your normal talents you should be focusing on offensive and defensive first. Precise, Strained, Unhinged, Concussion, Vigilance and Allegro are your first choice offensive talents. Unhinged is by far the strongest damage output buff, but it does come with a significant weapon handling debuff. One stack is very manageable for all weapons, but I would avoid adding more than 2 stacks until you picked up some of the utility talents that buff weapon handling. If the right offensive talents are not dropping for you, you can also take close and personal. You might be wondering why I've not mentioned Optimus, which is one of the best weapon damage talents in the main game. That's because it doesn't work with Bullet Hell. For defensive, start with Preservation, Clutch and Adrenaline Rush. Multiple tiers of Preservation will make you incredibly tanky and synergizes really well with the aggressive playstyle you need. Opportunistic is a great utility talent if you have a shotgun, but I always say the number one to go for is Trauma. This is a great talent for the Nemesis fight, letting you do damage to it, and if you get a headshot without taking damage in return. You can also pick up Steady-Handed or Optimized to offset the weapon handling debuff from Unhinged. If the RNG is against you in early loops and none of these come up, skip the talents and take the credits. By the time you reach Nemesis, you will want to acquire the 3 additional offensive talent slots, all the armor kit slots, and maxed out your ammo capacity, so those credits will be needed. At the end of each loop, you will be able to increase your core stats, weapon damage, armor, And skill tiers. Put everything into armor. That's it. No arguments. By the time you make it to the Nemesis fight, you should have increased your base armor by around 90%, which will prevent you being one shot. Not only is increasing your armor stat the only way you can become tankier, it also synergizes perfectly with your other defensive talents. Speaking of skills, the one to focus on pre-Nemesis are Revive the Hive, Riot Foam, Sticky Bombs, and very importantly, the holographic decoy. The Nemesis will hack your skills like drones, so using them in the fight will only make it tougher for you. The holographic decoy is perfect for letting you DPS without taking damage in return for both the Nemesis fight and for distracting spawning enemies when spawn points are close together. My favourite combo is the Riot Foam with the decoy, both of which let you DPS Nemesis without taking damage. All this brings us to the Nemesis fight. Ideally you should reach here after loop 6. To do this you just need your Nemesis heat gauge to be under 100% when you finish loop 5. In simple terms, this means you will need to complete at least 11 median rooms up to this point out of the 20 rooms you will have completed. You should also have 2 exotic talents by this point, a full 6 offensive talents, 2 or 3 defensive talents, and the same number of less of utility talents. Before you start the fight, stock up. Max out your armor kits and ammo. Buy some special ammo. While the Nemesis is shock immune, other ammo will give you the edge you just might need. At the start of the fight, head left up to the top of the arena. This is a great vantage point to keep the Nemesis at range. Use your decoy to distract it and any skills that it uses, and deal damage when it is not firing at you. If it does close in on you, reposition. You cannot face tank this enemy. One other thing that you absolutely should do is use your NSA tokens that you earn from playing to buy the upgrades from the NSA vendor. Once past the Nemesis, this build only gets stronger and stronger, and the only thing that will stop your run is that there are no checkpoints, and if you had a curry last night.